Hollywood paints pirates as chaotic brutes, all rum, swords, and buried treasure. But the truth is far stranger. This is their law, the Pirate Code. Article 1. Every man has a vote. While the world knelt two kings, the most wanted men on the planet were practicing democracy. They didn't bury gold. They buried an idea that freedom could exist at sea. This is the image we all know. The X on the map, the chest overflowing with gold. It's the ultimate pirate fantasy, cemented forever by Treasure Island. But the practice of burying treasure is almost entirely myth. The only major documented case was William Kidd, and even he only did it as a last-ditch legal bargaining chip when his career was collapsing. The truth is, pirates didn't save. They spent. Historians describe their base, the self-declared Republic of Pirates in Nassau, as a scene of constant, chaotic celebration. They would seize a fortune on the high seas and then blow it all on rum and parties, often within days. Their wealth was fleeting, burned through in a blaze of glory. The buried treasure was a lie. It was a story told to the world, while the real treasure was something they lived by every single day. So if the myth was a lie, what was the truth? What was the real treasure? It's this, the Pirate Code. In 1724, an author known only as Captain Charles Johnson published a general history of the robberies and murders of the most notorious pirates, and in it, he revealed their rules. These weren't just loose guidelines. They were binding social contracts, the constitution of their floating republics. On a pirate ship, the captain was elected. Let that sink in. In an age of absolute monarchy, these outlaws chose their leaders with a popular vote, and just as they could elect him, they could impeach him. If a captain became too tyrannical or incompetent, the crew could vote him out. But the crew's power didn't stop there. They also elected a quartermaster, who acted as their representative. He was the voice of the men. The captain only had absolute, unquestioned power during the heat of battle and in a chase. The rest of the time, it was the quartermaster who divided the loot, handed out daily rations, and served as the judge for minor disputes. It was a perfect separation of powers, a system of checks and balances designed to prevent the tyranny they had all escaped from. Think about the world these men came from. Most were former sailors from the Royal Navy or merchant ships. They had lived under the boot of brutal, often sadistic captains who could whip a man for the slightest infraction and steal his wages with impunity. Their democratic system wasn't born from philosophy, it was born from trauma. It was a direct, radical response to the oppressive top-down world they had left behind. On a pirate ship, every man had a say, a right to justice, and a share of the prize. But their most radical idea, the one that truly sets them apart from their time, was this. Buried deep in the articles of the infamous pirate Bartholomew Black Bart, Roberts was a detailed workplace insurance policy. This was not chaos. This was a corporation. It was a system of compensation for injuries sustained on the job. The code was specific. Lose a right arm in battle, you received 600 pieces of 8. A left arm, 500. Lose an eye, and you'd get 100 pieces of 8. This was a comprehensive system, offered nearly 170 years before most civilized nations even began to think about state-run social insurance for workers. This stands in stark contrast to the system they fled. The Royal Navy had something called the Chatham Chest, a fund meant to support injured sailors, but it was notoriously corrupt, poorly managed, and often left disabled men begging on the streets. For many sailors, turning pirate wasn't a choice for riches. It was a choice for a future. It was a promise that if you were wounded in service to the crew, you wouldn't be abandoned. So what about the villains? What about monsters like Blackbeard? Even his legendary terror was a calculated performance. He famously braided slow-burning fuses into his hair and massive beard before a battle. Why? To wreath himself in smoke, to look like the devil himself emerging from the haze. It was brand management. It was psychological warfare. Blackbeard's goal wasn't to fight. His goal was to be so utterly terrifying that other ships would surrender without a single shot being fired. He understood that a bloody battle meant damaged goods, a damaged ship, and wounded crewmen, all of which cost money. By cultivating an image of pure, demonic chaos, he could take prizes with maximum efficiency and minimal risk. He wasn't just a killer, he was a CEO managing his reputation. This is the human story behind the legend. Why did they do this? Why create these floating democracies with insurance plans and elected officials? Because they were rebels. They were ordinary sailors who had been abused, exploited, and discarded by the empires of the world. They had lived under the tyranny of kings and brutal captains who treated them as less than human. Their democracy wasn't just a political theory. It was a defiant act of rebellion. It was a declaration that they were men, not property. They proved that freedom wasn't a gift handed down from a king or an admiral. It was a contract, written in ink, agreed upon by equals, and sealed by a vote. They created a new world for themselves in the middle of the ocean, a world built not on bloodlines, but on brotherhood. The greatest secret of the pirates wasn't where they buried their gold, it was how they decided to share it. Thanks for watching. If you found this journey into the past as fascinating as I did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more hidden histories.